Righty-ho, we have got our zip-in and our zip-in. This one here should have only been done now once I'd put the lining on. So because I have screwed up, because I want this to be a pocket and this to be a pocket up there, what I'm going to do is lay this on my lining, and I'm just going to run a stitch through here on top or beside of what I've done. In fact, I might just leave this green thread on and just do it right beside what I've done. You'll hardly notice it because the green thread's a good match. So I think I'm just going to run this down the side, put a couple of pins in so it doesn't move, and I'm just going to run a stitching line. You guys are going to be the only ones that know it's there. Haha. I run a stitching line down through here, and that's going to separate my two pockets. So this becomes a pocket and the top one becomes a pocket. So yeah, that was a bit of a faux pas, wasn't it? So this will be a whole pocket that goes right into that corner. So I'm going to leave my zip foot on. I've just got my lining on the back like this, and this is how I'm going to fix my problem. So I just undid my needle. That was very clever. There we go. So I'm going to turn my work around actually, because now I'm back to front. I'm going to go this way. Make sure everything's sitting flat and flush. Yeah. And I'm just going to run. Is that even? Yeah. Just going to run this right on the inside of that purple line. And you really, yeah. You're the only ones that are going to stop me on the street and go, haha, seen your mistake. No one else is going to even see it. In fact, oh no, I won't go any closer. I can't go any closer because of the zip. So I'm just going to run that on that edge beside my purple thread. So a bit naughty, but this is how you make your pocket normally. You just sew your seam, your top stitch down, and it forms your pocket. It's a very nice, easy way of making a pocket, had I done it right. Okay. There you go. So you're really very hard to see that. You've got to have very good eyesight to see that. So that naked eye, when you're walking with your backpack on, no one is going to see it. And anyway, this is the front of your backpack, not the back of your backpack. Most people will see the back of your backpack. No, they'll see the front of your backpack. Look at that. Hardly can tell it's there. You seriously can hardly tell that that row of stitching's there. I'm cool with that. So there I've cheated. So now I've made a pocket there and a pocket here. Okay? Now the next thing I shouldn't have done, this is what's really good about videos, is stop your seam allowance away from the end, because you're going to be sewing your linings together. So just stop a seam allowance away from the end and from this end. So that was good that I remembered that. Not. That's okay. So just stop a seam allowance away to sew your linings and your outer in so that you can make a nice lining. These are very, very nice sharp. There you go. Just so, see there? And there. Just so that it's separate. Now I think what I want to do is I want to have a key tab. So I'm going to put this maybe here. Yeah, I think I'll just put that there. And what will happen is this can go, have my keys on it, or you decide you want to have your keys on the inside. You could actually just about have them, I wonder if you could, no, that would be a hassle. No, I think I'll just have them on the inside of my bag. I think I'll put them on my lining. Oh, I'm just thinking out loud. Now I'm going to put my bag right side to right side, and I'm going to sew across the top and down the side and down the side. So I've got my bag together. Then I'm going to do the same to my lining. All right, so they're going to be separate. So I'm just going to sew across here, and I'm going to sew down here. Now the bag, the front is bigger. The front is bigger than the back because it comes around the side, so don't think you've done it wrong. So they should kind of match here. Brilliant, brilliant. Not bad, but not fantastic, so maybe measure that before you do it. I have reshaped mine and it's made it a little bit longer, but that's okay. I will fudge it and see if it works. So just pin your outer, pin your inner, don't sew them all together, okay? What we're going to do on the lining is we're going to leave an opening on the lining to turn it through. Oh, and across the top. So these clips are just fantastic for this job. We want to just do one, there's my little tab I'm putting on there. We just want to do one at a time because we're going to actually sew our basin. Oh, that fits. Miracle, isn't it? With more my reshaping, that it actually still fits. When you reshape something, sometimes you have to, you know, make allowances for it to fit, but it's actually fitting okay, which is a blessing. So reshape it if you need to. It's your bag. It's not going to hurt to reshape it at this stage because it'll be what it's going to be. Let's not forget to put that in. I quite like the idea of having a key tab on the inside. Now I'm going to put I think I'll put my 1/4 inch foot on now. So I'm going to use my 97D, or you can use your 37 foot. I'm going to tell the machine that I've put my 97D foot on and my dual feed because I want it to feed really nicely. I'm going to start at the bottom and I am going to go, oh, and I'm going to make sure I've moved my needle position back so that I'm not going to break a needle. Clear it if all else fails. That's better. Now my needle position's in the right place. Now, when I come up to putting my little tag on, I'm going to reverse it so it's nice and strong. Oops. So just sew your 1/4 inch seam, make sure you've got everything sitting flat. And wherever there's joins, just any thickness, just go over it a couple of times. Remember, it's slightly bigger on the front and the back, so you might have to pull your raw edges together. And here I've got a bit of piping, so I'm just backing over it. And I will fray check wherever my piping is as well to make sure that nothing frays, all right? So just come in and pull your fabric so your raw edges are together, like that. I promise this will be the hardest thing I ever do at Banana Club. My husband keeps saying, that's really hard. But it's just a bit of a challenge, and it's good for you that have been doing my Banana Clubs for the last 20 odd years to have a bit of a challenge. So yeah, this is one. This is a challenge. So there's my little tab. So I'm just going to come up to my tab and I'm going to reverse over my tab. There we go. So just know, those of you that don't live too far away from me, from my work, you can come and finish your bag with me if you choose to. Maybe after Christmas. Now when I get up to the top here, I'm just going to sew right up. I'm going to go down the other side and then I'm just going to go straight across the top. So I'm just going to cut my thread here and I'm going to turn around. I'm going to sew from the bottom up the same as what I've just done, so that I'm going the same way. And bring my edges together. And it's really, really important when you're doing designs on fabric and then you're sewing your seam together to allow for your seam allowance so that your design's not too close to the edge. I possibly could have put my design slightly further over. See, we've got everything sitting nice and flat on the inside, so it's going to, then I just fold a piece of fabric over, but that's fine. And then come up here, and remember I've got a bit of piping here, so I'm going to reverse over it And I've got a bit of piping here, and I'm going to reverse over that as well. I'm going to go all the way up to the top. I'm going to reverse. Like that. I am going to fray check where those bits of piping are. So here's where my piping finished. I'm putting a bit of fray check on there. I'm putting, that's got no piping. Oh, yep, here, bit of fray check on there. Bit of fray check on there. There's the end of my piping there. And then the same on the other side. So just a bit of fray check on my piping. Here and here and here. Then I know that that is all sealed and secure. Okay? Right, now the next thing, the base. Now the base pattern is actually this, and I have got that in your notes, and you'll get it like this, and it says cut on the fold. So your base looks like this when you have cut it out of paper. Okay? So when you are going to check your bag and to make sure your base is the right size, you're going to put your right sides together and get the halfway mark of the back of your bag. You're going to make sure, see how that needs trimming there, make sure everything is trimmed so that it's going to stitch really easily. And in fact, I'm going to fray check those now so they've got time to dry. That's my piping and my piping. Got time to dry. And then you're going to get the halfway mark of the front of your bag. And remember, it will be different than the back because it's bigger. Get the halfway mark of the front of your bag. And with your paper piece, you can now check if it's going to fit. Okay? So you've got your halfway mark of your bag here. The flatter piece is the back of the bag. The rounder piece is the front of the bag. So you can just pin that to there. You can pin this to here. And you can pretty much see that that is going to be perfect. Okay, so you can actually check to make sure that that bag's going to be perfect. Now, I did a dumb thing, and I thought, oh, I'll just pipe my bag, so pipe this so it's ready to go, but I hadn't even made my bag, so it was pretty dumb. So I'm probably going to end up taking off this piping and having to redo it, so we're just going to have a look. So I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to get my halfway mark, and I should not have done that, but I was trying to be clever and get it ready beforehand, because you've seen me make piping. So that is the back of my bag. This is the front of my bag. Now I've taken my pin out because I'm intelligent today. So now I'm going to put my base on, and I'm going to pin that to there. And don't ever pre-make your base because it may not fit. I didn't check, did I? So that's going into there, that's going into there. And let's see, I might just be in luck. Let's see if this is going to fit, or else I have to recut it. It's actually going to fit. Luckily my pattern I made worked, because that could have turned to custard. Because I should not have piped it without checking it. But fortunately, it's perfect. So there you go. That base should be about right for you. So isn't that very, very lucky? Because honestly, I thought, oh, yep, that's really not intelligent. And then I'm going to use my zip foot to sew that all the way around. That fits like a glove, to tell you the truth. And I sew this on now because then that's all all nice and tidy. There, make sure your piping is out, and I'm going to check it by turning it through and having a look. Oh, I can't turn it through, can I? Because I have to sew my lining. It's all right. I can see that's right. Note to oneself, undo the zip. This is why you leave the top open. Undo the zip here so you can pull your bag back through, because otherwise how are you going to get the bag back through when you sew across the top? So that's why I left the top open. So if you're thinking it was a mistake, it's just so that you can get your hand in there, because I forgot to open up the zip, which is fortunate, but leave this till last because you might make a boo-boo. So yeah, it's a good idea. So yeah, that fits perfectly. So that pattern I've given you, as long as you've stitched your seams right, we should be all good. And they're about a centimetre seam. But you can see by using the giggly, it's lovely and strong. And again, I will stitch this on and I will end up stitching it twice. Because you need to stitch it on, then you need to check it, then you need to stitch it again. Which I won't do all of that with you, but I will do that. So you can see what you do. Just go on here. Now this is when you might need to put a thicker needle on. So you need to just test it. And if you need to put 100 needle on because you put a really stiff base on, then do that. If you want to just have a giggly base, then it won't be so thick and it'll be easier. So once you've stitched all of that, you can pull it through your opening. I'll just do it. So you can check. And you will get a finish like, it's really stiff. There we go. Like that. So you've got your piping in there with your garment on top. Alright, so I'm going to stitch it as close to that piping as I can do. Okay, then the next step, once I've done all of that, stitch all of that because that's going to take a minute, is I am going to put my right side to right side and I'm going to leave an opening between here and here so that I can pull everything through, because otherwise I can't pull my bag through. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do that. So that's going to be how I pull my bag through. Okay, now you know what I do here. So if I'm going to be pulling something through something, what happens invariably is you stretch the fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that with my pen, my opening here and here and here and here. And I'm going to do a stay stitch so that I do not stretch my bag when I'm pulling it through. So my stay stitch is just running a really close stitch length, oh no, 1.6, and just doing it an 1/8 of an inch away from the edge to stop that stretching. And I'm going to do it on the other side as well. Just makes it so much easier when you go to finish, because it's all nice and tight then. Oh, I'm attached. I'm attached by a pin. Okay, so just straight stitch down here. Now I'm going to show you what I did on my other bag, because you do not have to do this method. Okay, so I'm piping this one, I'm going to pull it all through, do my lining, but look what I did to make it easier. Here's my other finished bag. And what I did was I just put my lining and my outer together and I bound the bottom. So I didn't have my piping on the inside. I just bound the bottom of my bag. So this is the finished bag that I've done with recycled denim and some more K facet fabric because I like it. But one thing I did, which you don't need to do, I have freehand stitched and embellished all of my fabric, and you hardly can tell I've done it. So I've done a lot of work, but it hasn't shown up much. And then I forgot to do some embellishing on this one, so I've done some hand stitching on this one. And even in here, I have lined it and I've embellished the fabric. Yep, I know, I must have had a moment. So for this bag here, which is going to be very similar, I've actually put a side zip in. So I've got my little tag there, but I've put a side zip all the way down here. So I've got a pocket. The whole side of the bag is a pocket. The back has got a pocket that goes all the way to the bottom. And the front, this is where I did that one wrong. The front has got the pocket to here. And then I've top stitched that last. And it has got the pocket to there. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets all on that bag. So there's the little backpack, and this opens up like this, and so you can wear your backpack on your back like that, okay? Or you can zip your bag up and you can just throw it over your shoulder. I was going to go like that. Throw it over your shoulder like, look, I can't even think what I'm doing now. Throw it over your shoulder like that. So you can wear it either way. All right. Now, if you're wondering what the little tab is that I'm putting on the side of the bag is, so I've added a little tab. Let's just find it, and I'm going to show you what it is. Here's my little tab. Let's just turn this through so you can see. It's quite cute. So I'm just going to turn this through so you can see my tab. And then you'll get a bit of an idea of what the bag is going to look like. I'm really happy with the colours. It's really, really good. I will sew that base in shortly. So that will be all stitched in shortly. Yeah, very sharp. And that will be coming up there. And this will be coming up here. So here's how your bag's shaping up. One moment. Cute as. Very cute. Right, so here's how it's shaping up. And I have made, as that gets sewn last, and I have made a little holder for my hand sanitizer. So you've got this in your notes, so I'll put it around the right way so you can see it. So a little hand sanitizer, a little Dettol hand sanitizer. And it just fits into here. 2 bits of elastic, and I've given you the instructions in the YouTube clip to watch. And then that goes into there. This comes onto here, and I've put my little loop, and it will hang on, and you'll be very pleased to know I've made a self-colour one. I found a little bit of fabric left because I didn't have the right colour. So that's what's going onto there. So that's going to be quite a fun little bag. Okay? So we're going to stop there. I'm going to sew that base on and then stitch the lining, which I probably don't need to show you, but if you want to hang around and watch that, you can.